You know, and listen, he won't get the decision on the cards in Saudi because there's too much money on the line, but he could cause a lot of problems.
Pro boxing fans here in Bournemouth, it's a fight week on a Friday. I'm a bit out of sync with this whole Sunday evening fight night, but we're here. The boxing press conference has happened for your guy Chris Billam Smith against a very experienced masterneck, someone that we've sort of seen over the years. Fought Tony Bellew in 2015 as well. That's when I first got to see him. First of all, Shane, how are you? How's things?
I'm good, thank you, mate. Yeah, looking forward to Sunday. As you said, it's going to be slightly different, but looking forward to it. Great opponent in Masterneck. Hard man. Do you know what I mean? A guy that's he's got stopped once, but I don't think he was dropped. I don't know what happened there. Must have been on a cut or something. Couldn't get much footage of it, but lost only the once since 2015 in Tony Bellew. I think it was like November 2015. So he's lost once since then to Dorticus, who wasn't a world champion at the time, went on to become a world champion. So both of those two guys went on to become world champions. So his resume speaks for itself. He's won the European title. You know, he's done it. He's done it all, but he hasn't fought for a world title and hasn't won a world title. He's had 52 fights. So you know, we got to be well up for it, and I think Chris definitely is.
Obviously, you're a very experienced person in this field now. In regards to world champions, you've had a fair few over your time. When we looked at Chris Billam Smith, there was all these names popping out: Riakpo, Okoli, rematch, even Jai Optasaya, who I spoke to recently. But when Masterneck's name got involved, how much did you sort of have to just make sure that, whilst Chris is ultimate professional, that you had to pray into him that you've got to get past the stage before you get back onto other title opportunities with other champions?
Yeah, look, this is a complete potential banana skin, but that's everything at world level. You know, you can't slip up. You can't take your eye off the ball. A lot of people are questioning, he's had that pinnacle of his career where he beat a British guy for a world title and outside in front of 15,000. That's, of course, what's going to be potentially on people's minds. But really, he was never touted to become a world champion. So in his eyes, it's just where we're going from here. We need to make another plan. We need to keep pushing on. Every single time he's won the Commonwealth, he pushed on. British, then European, pushed on. Now world honours. So we want to obviously fight for unifications, but there's business to do on Sunday, and big fights as well on the horizon. But we have to go out and perform.
I do want to talk about another one of your stars, one of the star boys in the gym, in Adam Azim, who's now we know is fighting in February against the mandatory to the. We know that they faced off straight after Adam won the fight in Wolverhampton. Just talk to me about Adam right now. What's the routine right now for Adam?
Well, he's back in the gym already. He's back in. He's in camp. It's only about 8 weeks now till February 3rd, so that will go real quick. And yeah, we're going to be training through Christmas, but. It's just part of the game. He's 21 years of age. You have to do that at this stage of your career, so that whenever you get up to 24, 25, you can pick and choose which dates you want to go on. He could have pushed it back, but we wanted to get that first defence out of the way because that was our mandatory. Because obviously Poulsen was stripped of his title, won it on a close cards against Petterjan. So it's going to be a decent fight. It's definitely a step up from Frank Petterjan, but he just grew once again off that win. There's one thing doing all the sparring in the gym, training and everything like that, but then putting the icing on the cake in front of the crowd and on live TV with the 8-ounce gloves on is different. So he's that last fight still nowhere near what he performs in the gym like, but we need to just gradually build that confidence on the main stage.
Actually, a fighter that I want to talk to you about in regards to Chris Billam is someone that I spoke to just in the last 2 weeks was Jai Optasaya, who was at the Day of Reckoning press conference, and I spoke to him then. And look, he said to me, listen, I'm hungry, I'm ready for these other champions. Just talk to me about what you've seen of him, because everyone, when they talk about that division, has their eyes on Jai Optasaya. They say he's the most exciting, he's got the most power. What do you make of Jai Optasaya as a fighter?
He's a great fighter, yeah. He's a sharp counter puncher. Southpaw, got good feet, can bang. Ticks a lot of boxes, but Bradis wasn't the best version of Bradis when he boxed him and gave him nightmares. So he holds a Ring Magazine belt, but listen, that division is a very competitive division, the cruiserweight. So time will tell. He's definitely one of the most talented out there. But he's boxed the guy in Jordan Thompson, and no disrespect to Jordan Thompson, but he was like number 14 or something. He was well up the rankings in the governing bodies. Hadn't really ever boxed at that level, and now he's boxing Ellis Zorro, another guy that's never boxed anywhere near that level. So, we're boxing a guy in Masterneck who's fought Dorticus, Bellew, all of the good guys. Do you know what I mean? And he's been knocking on the door of a world title for years. A genuine, legitimate contender. No offence to Ellis Zorro, but a guy that he won't get to world level Ellis Zorro. So it's just, he might be calling people's names out, but why is he boxing those people? So I'm not doubting his courage or nothing. I'm just saying, you can't really go off him knocking out guys that aren't on the level and looking spectacular to people being in hard 50-50 fights, because you're never going to look good at the top level. It's about winning, and sometimes it's the difference between 1 or 2 rounds.
Too quickly, want to talk about other boxing before I let you go. I know you sort of watch the sport and you know everything that happens around, especially the big boys. Tyson Fury's dad, John Fury, talks about how he's on the decline, and he said when he did this interview that not in regards to ability, but power, conditioning, muscle. Do you feel like that's the case when you saw him last, that possibly we could be seeing the decline physically of Tyson Fury?
He hasn't really been in a competitive fight since Wilder, and even Wilder, he kind of had his number, didn't he, after the second one? So his best performance was the second Wilder fight, which was a long time ago. The third one he got hit too much, got dropped, didn't look as anywhere near as menacing as he did in the second one, sorry. And then he's boxed Dillian Whyte, who was mandatory for a very long time, but wasn't on that level. And there's an elite few heavyweights, and then Derek Chisoru's got handfuls of losses. So you can't really gauge him until he's in competitive fights. So, and one thing I would say about Fury is he does turn the script. Whenever he's in competitive fights, he does show up. So it'll be interesting to see how he preps for it. But yeah, listen, he's 35 years of age. 35 is a good age for a heavyweight, but for a guy that turned pro, I think in 19 or 20, it's a big difference, because he's been doing training camps for 12 rounds since probably 2012, I think it was, when he boxed people like John McDermott and stuff. The training camps for long training camps for 12 round fights, it does waste muscle because you're doing so much aerobic activity. And muscle mass and stuff is on the decline in the 30s, so it'll be interesting to see. But I wouldn't write him off, that's for sure.
I do want to talk about that card in Saudi Arabia quickly. Otto Wallin, Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder versus Parker. Tough fights for both Wilder and AJ, but in your eyes, do you feel like it's enough of a banana skin for each guy?
I don't think it's a banana skin for Wilder. I think the banana skin is more on Wallin's side, because Wallin's just got a good win against Gassiev. Gassiev's a very good puncher. Probably Usyk said, I think I recall him saying that Gassiev was one of the hardest punchers he's ever been in against. So he's been in with AJ twice. So if you can take Gassiev shots, AJ will be punching from further out, but he's slippery. Listen, he won't get the decision on the cards in Saudi because there's too much money on the line, but he could cause a lot of problems and make him frustrated and make him not look the best. He's not really a puncher, Wallin, so I don't think there's much danger in terms of him getting knocked out, but it's just looking good and going, and building confidence. And one of the most important things for AJ is, I've always seen he's lacking that little bit of confidence. He wasn't stepping in with Hellenius for ages, and with Franklin it took him, same thing, he just looked like he was pausing and a bit, playing safe all the time. So, but Joseph Parker was getting buzzed up by Jack Massey, with a right hand, and if you're getting buzzed up by Jack Massey with a right hand, you're getting taken out, in my opinion, by Deontay Wilder, and he's looking good in the gym. So I don't think he ever really questions himself, Wilder. He's full of confidence, full of beans. So in terms of that, I think out of those two fights, I think that the slipperier opponent is Wallin for sure.
Actually, before I do let you go, just because you made that point, I was watching something with Deontay Wilder. He did an interview in America with Brian Custer, and he said in there that there's champions that are born champions and there's champions that are made champions. He was Anthony Joshua, he's a manufactured champion. They've had to, and he was, I'm just going to paraphrase, but he was saying that...
Or he's born?
No, he's saying that he's born.
Tyson Fury's born as well. You know, because Tyson Fury's a born fighter, and so is probably out of everyone, Tyson Fury is probably the most naturally gifted, because you know, I don't think any coach would be able to. You know, they can condition him, but he fights the way he fights, and you know, he sees shots. It's all him. You can brush him up, but in getting fit and getting stronger from a physical and technical aspect. But AJ, yeah, you're right. He's an open book, but he's way more athletic than the likes of Fury, and that's why that always gives that sort of question mark. But yeah, listen, after 4 or 5 rounds, fighters have to start thinking for themselves. Game plans and stuff go out the window. Yeah, you got 60 seconds, but the more tired they get, the less they're listening. And you know, I think that's where the natural instinct comes out, and that's the difference between fighters that are born and made. And I don't know, Wilder, he's a born puncher. I wouldn't say he's naturally a born, because you never see him getting up on his toes and making people miss. And yeah, he's been down on the cards plenty of times. Spilker was down the cards. Who else? Luis Ortiz was down, and then he just pulled out the bag. So, yeah.
Cool. Shane, always a pleasure to talk to yourself. I did say I tried to limit it to wherever we can, but thank you so much for your time, as always. Good luck with the fight on Saturday night and in 2024 as well. Thank you very much. Cheers.